David Pollack, a former Georgia linebacker and current college football analyst, recently made a bold statement on social media, calling out Alabama and South Carolina following their losses in bowl games. His critique came after both teams were left out of the college football playoff field, a decision that caused plenty of controversy and fan backlash, especially from fans of the SEC teams involved. Pollack pointed out the glaring reality that the performances of Alabama and South Carolina in their respective bowl games were proof that they didn't deserve to be in the playoff over other teams like SMU or Indiana. After both teams lost, the analyst took to X, that is formerly known as Twitter, to express his thoughts, drawing attention to the fact that these two schools had voiced strong opinions about being snubbed. According to Pollack, their bowl performances were a clear indication that they didn't have the credentials to compete in the playoff race. Alabama, for instance, had a rough game in the ReliaQuest Bowl against Michigan, where they were defeated 19-13. The Crimson Tide struggled throughout, especially in the first quarter, where they fell behind 16-0 and never managed to recover. Cornerback Jalen Milroe had a particularly tough game, throwing 3 turnovers. The loss further cemented the idea that Alabama, with its 3 losses, didn't have the same level of strength as other playoff contenders. South Carolina, too, couldn't escape the fallout of their own loss, which came in the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl against Illinois. The Gamecocks had a chance to win the game late, as they were driving down the field and reached Illinois' 7-yard line with 3 minutes remaining. However, they failed to convert on 4th down, sealing their fate and losing 21-17. To make matters worse, Coach Shane Beamer had a fiery outburst during the game when he clashed with Illinois' head coach Bret Bielema, making the situation even less appealing for South Carolina's playoff case. Pollack's comments also mentioned Ole Miss, another SEC team that believed it had a shot at the college football playoff. However, unlike Alabama and South Carolina, the Rebels hadn't played their bowl game yet. They were scheduled to face Duke in the Tax Slayer Gator Bowl, with fans hoping they could prove their worth by winning. However, given the already disappointing outcomes for Alabama and South Carolina, it's difficult to argue that Ole Miss could have fared much better. The losses to Michigan and Illinois were tough blows for the SEC, a conference often regarded as the strongest in college football. These results challenge the narrative that the SEC should be automatically granted spots in the playoff, just because of its reputation. While the SEC remains a top-tier conference, the losses to teams from the Big Ten and other conferences show that there is more parity in college football than some might want to admit. The rise of NIL deals and the transfer portal has leveled the playing field, allowing teams from other conferences to build competitive rosters. This bowl season served as a humbling reminder that the SEC isn't invincible, and Pollack's comments underscore that, sometimes, the numbers don't lie. With teams like Michigan and Illinois emerging victorious, it's hard to argue that Alabama, South Carolina, and Ole Miss were deserving of a playoff spot over other teams with stronger finishes. While the SEC is undoubtedly one of the best, its reputation can no longer be seen as an automatic ticket to the top. As college football continues to evolve, it's clear that the gap between conferences is narrowing. Teams from outside the SEC are proving that they can compete at the highest level, and it's no longer enough to simply boast about one's schedule. Every game matters, and as Pollack pointed out, it's hard to justify a playoff spot for teams that fail to perform when it counts. Stay subscribed for more videos.